Hi everyone, good morning all. Today's session is the day 4 session. Today we are going to discuss about the Spring Boot here, guys. Completely Spring Boot from today onwards. Okay, till now 3 sessions are completed. Those videos are available in this video demo session link. It is available in our YouTube. Okay, you can go through these videos later on time. Okay, day 1 is completely course introduction. Okay, day 2 and day 3, these two sessions for the Spring framework course prerequisite for Spring Boot. We discussed about what is Spring framework, types of applications, IOC container, how to configure IOC container, and with lab exercise with examples we discussed last two sessions. So 3 sessions are completed. If you know already Spring framework, then well and good, no problem at all. Freshly you can start today with Spring Boot here. There is then also no issue at all, guys, for the Spring Boot here. Okay, if you know already. If you don't know, then definitely you should go through about these basic videos. At least you can go through day 1. Why? Because throughout the course, what topics I'm explaining, what is the real time project, okay, how to configure, where to deploy, all the things we discussed in the day 1 session. Okay, so that's why I recommend to go through day 1 video, guys. Then if you are familiar with Spring framework, well and good. If you are not aware, if you are completely new, please go through day 2 and day 3 as well. Why? Because this is the minimum prerequisite for the Spring Boot here, so that's why. And for this is our admin contact number and email ID. Please make sure note down this number. At any time if you want any enrollment or any non-technical questions, this team will help you for you guys. This team will help you to you guys. Okay, now we'll start with our Spring Boot, okay, introduction here. And tomorrow is the last day for demo session. Okay, don't hurry up with the last day registrations. If you are interested in this one, please go through and enroll yourself. And this is the registration link. The Spring Boot will go to 2 to 3 days, guys. So maybe we'll try to cover as much as we can today and tomorrow. If we done, then it's okay. If not, it will go to another day. But tomorrow is the last day for the demo session, guys. Let me make it register here and check it. Then what we can do, tomorrow is the last day for demo sessions, guys. Okay, till then all the sessions you can able to access, okay, in our YouTube, guys, no problem at all. Okay, hope this point is clear for everyone. Still couple of people joined late. Just for high level, backup videos are available in this link. Today is the day 4, we are discussing the Spring Boot. Okay, now what we can do, let me start our session then. Just a minute, guys. Yeah, as part of the Java full stack development, okay, Spring Boot is the first one we are going to discuss the module. Till now, we discussed about the, okay, a Spring basics we completed. Okay, core Java and Java 8 you should complete by yourself. That is a mandatory. Okay, without, if you not have a knowledge on core Java, I recommend to go through core Java first, Java 8, and then jump into our the frameworks. Else it will be difficult for you to go for the frameworks here. Okay, Spring basics already we completed last two sessions. Okay, introduction to the Spring Boot agenda. Okay, how we created Spring framework agenda. In the same way for the Spring Boot, we'll discuss about introduction to the Spring Boot, why Spring Boot is popular, and what are the advantages and the goals, why Spring Boot came to the market, how it is working, development environment as it is same, how you done Spring framework. Okay, and types of applications already we covered. What are the features of the Spring Boot? Here only it will take some time to explain about the features of the Spring Boot. And then we have a embedded servers, embedded database. This completely part of the Spring Boot related topics here. Okay, now anyway, first we'll start from the introduction and then slowly we'll cover how much we can cover today. We'll try to cover as well, guys. Okay, now first, what is a Spring Boot? Okay, Spring Boot basically it is also a framework. Okay, now on what type of framework? Spring Boot is extension of Spring framework. Why? That simplifies initial setup and development of new Spring applications. If you want to create a Spring application, for the initial setup, everything taken care by our Spring Boot. Now, in the last sessions in the Spring framework, to set up your project, we spend lot of time, almost 1 hour of time we spent, and to set up the project, the complexity. Okay, but here that complexity is okay, is completely reduced, and the initial setup and development of Spring applications, Spring Boot we can use. This is about Spring Boot is a extension here. It will follow one point, guys, very very important: convention over configuration. Spring Boot follow this principle. What does it mean? Means you do your business logic. Configuration, I will take care. Setup, I will be take care. You don't need to worry about. You concentrate on the business logic writing. Like creation of IOC container, configuring the objects. Guys, please switch off your video. Rajesh. Okay, configuring I mean to say IOC container, object creation, and XML configurations, beans, everything taken care by your framework. You no need to worry about this one. So that's why it will take the convention over the configuration approach by specifying the saying that reducing the need for specifying beans and configurations. In XML configurations, we given, okay, accounts bean object we created in the last session, right? Hope you are able to see. And need for specifying the beans, we declared the beans as well. And creating application context and writing XML file loading, and we done this activity. This everything you can avoid it here. That is the meaning here. Need convention over configuration approach. Next is with Spring Boot. If whenever you're using Spring Boot, mainly focus on the business logic. Framework taken care of the boilerplate setup. Boilerplate setup, nothing but, I mean to say, writing XML files, writing application context object, okay, configuring data source XML files, web application XML files. You don't need to write. Just you need to write on your business logic. Anyway, we'll demonstrate you with an example, then you will get some idea as well. So to start with our microservices, Spring Boot is, okay, it speed up the process of starting new projects and support microservices that based on Java. Based on the Spring Boot, they introduced another library called Spring Cloud Libraries, so that microservice is the popular nowadays in the market as well. High. That's why people are expecting, do you know, microservices. Without Spring Boot, no microservice concept here. Okay, now Spring Boot is a good platform for Java developers. Okay, to develop standalone application, production grade Spring application that you just can run. That means production grade application means we can provide all the post deployment activities, whatever it is required, everything support by Spring Boot by using some features are available. So that's why it is a benefit for developers, not for anyone, guys. Mainly benefit for the developers here. Development is easy with the Spring Boot. Okay, now Spring can be used to develop Spring based applications using Java, Kotlin, or Groovy. Okay, now to start with, normally if you want to develop Spring application alone by using Kotlin and Groovy, not possible, but by using Spring Boot can be used to develop Spring based applications, any programming language, Java, Kotlin, and Groovy. Kotlin is a official programming language for Android based applications. Groovy, now you know Jenkins pipeline. Whenever writing this is a Groovy script, or whenever you're writing build or Gradle file, there also some Groovy script will be there. Now Java, now you know how you can do that. Okay, now one of the important, okay, features or a benefit in the Spring Boot is Spring Boot comes with some embedded servers. Embedded servers means Tomcat, Jetty, or Undertow. What does it mean? What does it mean? Embedded server means don't need to deploy your application to external server during development. That means if you are writing application in the Spring, normally if you take Spring, okay, Spring web application, if you take, I'm not asking Spring Boot. What are the steps you need to, okay, generate? Anyone tell me, guys, here? If I want to deploy, okay, this application into a Tomcat, what are the steps required? Even for the development environment deploying, what are the steps need to follow? Anyone? You can talk to me, guys.
Build tool is required.
Okay, it's a common build tool is required. Okay, Maven build tool. Okay, then by using this tool, can we generate a war file? Why it's a web application? Am I correct? Next, still what
Yes.
steps is required for development?
Jenkins file to deploy.
Jenkins ignore.
JDK.
Suppose if you are running local system, that's it. There is no Jenkins or nothing. Just I want to deploy just hello world using Spring application, WebMVC module. How the setup process? You need Eclipse, am I correct or not? To do,
Need ID,
yes, IDE.
JDK,
Okay, JDK software is required. For this Eclipse
J
IDE, do we need to, okay, to deploy to a server, do I need to download the Tomcat? Correct? I need to run the Tomcat in the background or not? Tell me, guys.
Yes.
Now, then I need to configure Tomcat in Eclipse IDE or not? Whoever already knowledge how the setup for them, it will be easy to understand this one. Just these are the steps we are to do. Then we need to run the application in Eclipse. Eclipse. If you need external support, then we need to deploy the war file into Tomcat web apps folder. This is the external, I mean to say any machine or anywhere you want to do server machines or whatever you want to do, just these are the things required. By using Maven build tool, I need to generate a war file or AR file, and you need an Eclipse IDE for the development development and we need to download the Tomcat and run the Tomcat in the background, and we need to set the path as well and configure the Tomcat in Eclipse IDE, and we need to run the application in Eclipse. Then you can able to success to deploy externally, and we need to deploy the war file into Tomcat web apps folder, and you can able to access your application. These many number of steps you need to follow to deploy something a hello world, okay, into our Tomcat. Now tell me, Tomcat is a web server or application server?
both.
Sure, it is a web server. Application servers like a JBoss, WebLogic, Mule, these are all kind of application servers. Web servers are kind of a lightweight. Okay, application servers are very heavyweight and it has their pros and cons. This is also a pros and cons we have. We can deploy this application into any application server, no issues at all. See, to deploy a hello world, to deploy a hello world, okay, I am doing these many number of steps. If you go to the Spring Boot here, not required. All the steps are not required. Just you need to run the application. That's it. Automatically, your hello world will be deployed into a Tomcat on specific port number. That is the advantage of using the Spring Boot. This is one of the feature. Okay, in detail again we will be discuss each topic level. Just I'm giving a benefit of using Spring Boot, understanding the Spring Boot terminology to you guys. Okay, now Spring Boot offers production ready features like health check, metrics monitoring using actuators. Spring Boot has a another important feature called actuators here. It is providing production ready features like you deployed your application into a production. Suppose a Flipkart is running. For Flipkart till now, how many number of requests you made? how much time your application is started. Okay, what is the JVM metrics, how JVM is behaving. Okay, it is completely internals of the application, how it is behaving in the production. This is by using actuators we can get it. Now whatever you are saying, this is one separate topic, this is one separate topic. Everything Spring Boot, whatever we are discussing, everything is a individual topics, guys. This is all our Spring Boot features here. Just to get an idea what is a Spring Boot, I'm explaining to you guys. Okay, next, what are the advantages of Spring Boot? As of now, you got some high level picture what is a Spring Boot. Okay, Spring Boot is extension of the framework. Spring Boot is providing embedded servers. Spring Boot is giving production ready features. Development will be easy. A lot of advantages and kind of a definition, anything. Main advantages is easy to understand and develop Spring applications. The complexity, whatever you shown last two sessions, develop hello world using Spring. Here, easy to understand, we can develop our applications. Here, tell me, to develop CRUD operations using Spring, how much time it will take based on your idea, guys? How much time it will take?
It will take more time.
Approximate time? 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week,
At least half day.
half day. At least you mean to say half day. I mean 6 hours you are saying to develop CRUD operations. But a Spring Boot within 15 minutes I can develop. That was the huge difference is there. Why? Because developing business logic is easy, but developing environment setup is difficult by using Spring. Why? Because XML files, configuring data source, compatible libraries, okay, verifying the libraries compatible or not, everything programmer need to take care. But here, everything taken care by the framework. You no need to worry. Just here we need to concentrate on business logic. Writing business logic is easy, but configuring the setup only it will take a time. So that's why here productivity will be increased in the Spring Boot, and productivity is increasing nothing but development time is reduced here, guys. Development time will be reduced here. What is the main goal of the Spring Boot? To avoid complex XML configuration in the Spring. Think like a you have a 20 Pojo classes. Configuring in a XML file with these 20 classes, it's a complex. Think like a 30, 40, 50 classes are available. Managing all the beans into XML is quite difficult. Here completely we can avoid. You no need to write XML file. Whole Spring Boot application, you will never see any XML file also, guys, except for the logging for other specific to our development here. Okay, and to develop production ready, okay, Spring applications in an easier way. Production ready is nothing but actuators here. And another main goal is providing opinionated starter forms to simplify your Maven configuration. Means, tell me, to develop web application, to develop this web application, what are the dependencies required? Whatever you have an idea, please tell me, guys. Dependencies, what are the dependencies required to run your web application, this web application? Yes, please, everyone have one point. If you given, it will be easy. At least one dependencies, start from someone. Yes, Abdul, tell me.
Spring Boot.
I'm not asking Spring Boot, I'm asking Spring.
Spring
Spring
if you
contest.
Okay, someone
Spring
given
Starter
an,
Web.
I'm asking only Spring, not Spring Boot. Spring context. Okay,
Spring Core.
Spring core module. When it's a web application, do we need transaction or not? If it is a database, can we connect to JDBC? If it is a communicating with Hibernate, ORM support is required. And if you are writing Hibernate core dependencies, Okay, and Hibernate validation dependencies. Okay, if you are implementing log4j, log4j dependencies and slf4j for the interface, you are writing JUnit test cases and Mockito dependencies. Tell me guys, anything, any other dependencies?
Spring
uh,
hyphen security.
if you are implementing security, we need as a Spring security module, and you are adding web application web module, and you are writing web MVC to develop REST API or a REST controller or model view controller, whatever we are developing. Then any other libraries? Remembered any other things?
Yeah,
No?
plugins are there. Maven core plugin.
Yeah, as per that is built. Main Spring related, Spring Hibernate. Why? Because when I say web end to end, MySQL jar file is required, right? MySQL dependency or Oracle driver. I mean to say MySQL driver or Oracle driver. This is the part. Communicate. Okay. It's kind of some database specific driver. Okay. Like this for developing again. If you see,
Redis cache.
yeah, if you are implementing Redis, then Redis cache dependency. It's kind of a based on the context, dependencies are available. Tell me, context you are using, assume that I am using suppose 5.2.3. If you are I'm using Hibernate as a 1.4 something, again I should verify compatible or not. Tell me guys. Compatibility should be right. Whatever we want, we cannot run. Am I correct or not? Here, whatever version you are using, Spring compatible Hibernate jar files I should be added. Whichever compatible supporting JUnit, Mockito, Spring Security, WebMVC. Here, compatibility also you should be verified. It's not like a easy task to set up your Maven setup in Spring projects. But here they give an option called Strater pumps to simplify our Maven configuration. They are given well-defined, predefined 6 to 7 starters. These starters are sufficient to start any application development. You no need to add all these dependencies. Those starters are responsible to download all the dependencies into your project. Anyway, I will explain you in more detailed discussion. These are the main goals of the Spring Boot here, guys. Now you got some idea what is a Spring Boot, what is the advantage, what is the goals. Still we have a lot to discuss. A high level you got information or any questions? Development is easy guys. Understanding some tricky points, these advantages, features is quite difficult. Okay, next. Why Spring Boot in the high level picture? Okay, it provide a flexible way to configure Java Beans, XML configurations, and database transactions. You can do using dot property file through Java programmatic approach. Any approach it can able to support as well. In Spring Boot, everything is auto configured. No manual configurations are needed. It offers annotation based Spring application. Only annotation based level only we are going through that. It is easiest dependency management, and it include embedded servlet container, nothing but the Tomcat here. These are the main important points. When someone asks why Spring Boot, high level picture points you can say. Okay, when I say Spring Boot, the main important point is no Tomcat. No, I mean there is no external Tomcat. Embedded Tomcat is required. By using Straters, dependency management is easy. There is no XML configuration. By using annotation based Spring application, we can go ahead. Here another point is everything is auto configuration feature is available in the Spring Boot here, guys. There is no manual configurations. If I develop just a hello world, then you will see the difference between yesterday's session and today's session, how much complexity is there. You will get some idea how these configurations are working to set up in your local system. Okay, okay, before doing that, let me give some another example as well to get a high level picture. Suppose Spring Boot configure, suppose you added, okay, some dependency, suppose a MySQL driver or Oracle driver into your class in your Maven build management tool. What happen is, whenever you do MySQL auto configurations, automatically it will configure. We have one special annotation in Spring Boot available called enable auto configuration annotation. This annotation will trigger all the available beans available into your project. MySQL want to connect to your application means MySQL data source should be created, and it needs to configure all the things taken care by your auto configuration except URL, username, and password. Suppose you added MySQL driver into your class path, but you haven't configured any database connection like data source, URL, username, you are not configured. Then automatically the Spring Boot auto configuration, okay, will kick in. I mean to say, it will start bean creations. The objects are not available, then it will throw an exception. Hey, beans are not available. Okay, you are not added specifically for MySQL database property. Like that, the auto configuration everywhere it will be available. All auto configuration, all the classes, objects, beans taken care by this annotation here. Internally, main it is working with the help of auto configuration feature. The entry point for our Spring Boot application is, okay, at the rate Spring Boot application. Internally, this is three annotations are available, main three annotations. See, this is the entry point for our Spring Boot application, guys. This is the first annotation. This annotation internally talking about the component scanning, and this annotation is internally talking to auto configuration. If you add this annotation, it is sufficient. Remaining two annotations by default. Yesterday we discussed about component scanning, right, to enable our to identify Spring Beans. See, this is the annotation at the rate component scanning annotation. You don't need to write explicitly. Everything will be there implicitly available if you add only this annotation here. That's it. Okay. Anyway, I will show you to run a hello world program, and then you can able to see your data as well. Okay. To set up in your local system, already we discussed, okay, but couple of new people joined today. Just a high level I'm explaining to you guys who are joined late today, guys. Okay, you guys have to complete three more sessions. Day one is completely course introduction, and day two, day three, Spring basics. What is Spring framework, environment setup, types of applications, what is IOC container, and a couple of examples we practiced in the last session, guys. So please make sure day one, day two, day three, today is completely discussing about the Spring Boot here. If you are already known about Spring framework, just you can ignore these videos and you can continue as it is in today. But development environment, please make sure watch previous sessions. Okay, the high level picture. Okay, so JDK is required, and we have a STS or IntelliJ. Initial 1 week will use STS, later on time again I will try to use IntelliJ as well. Both IDEs I will use. And build tools, I am using Maven build management tool. I want to generate, okay, test cases report. I want to generate a jar file. I want to verify my Java class files. By using Maven, I can do complete build management tool. Gradle is also Spring, and Spring initializer. Whenever we are using IntelliJ, then Spring initializer is required. If you are using STS, initializer is not required. Anyway, I'll explain you what does it mean initializer here. Okay, whoever, okay, join late, you can take a screenshot of this one. Just you need to visit this website, and you need to download an Eclipse, okay, Spring tool for Eclipse, and you need to run this command, guys, in the command prompt. See, once download is completed, locate the downloaded file on your computer, navigate to the CMD. In the downloads folder, I have this file. This file I have. Then I need to run java hyphen jar, and this is the jar file. After extraction, open your STS folder and launch. This is the icon here. Does it mean double click here? Let me quickly share you 1 minute I will spend. Already we done this setup. For the new people, just I'm explaining setup environment. Just visit this website spring.io. Just download this option 4.22.1. Once you download it, it will download as a jar file. See here, it will download as a jar file here. Now what you can do, open your downloads folder. Once it is downloaded here, you need to type it here cmd java jar. Whatever downloaded, that file should be there here. Then one folder will be created. Already we done in the last session. Open this one. See, we have an icon. This is the icon you should open. Now let me double click. This is for the setup environment in your local system. Any questions still now? Please confirm in the chat box else.
Yesterday, the @ configuration, @ enable auto configuration, both are same, right?
At the rate, no, both are
Configuration.
different. Enable auto configuration is different. At the rate configuration is different. Anyway, in detail we'll discuss. Don't worry. We have a lot differences there. Okay, first time it is taking, I don't know, every time for me taking long time to open this one. For you also facing same issue, guys? Previously I don't see this issue, but okay, in the desktop folder. Okay, to make it very simple for you guys, here right click on the icon, okay, and show more options, create a shortcut. See, in desktop, click this option, a shortcut will be created for this STS. Okay, so whenever if you want to open, go to the desktop, one icon will be there. Every time you no need to navigate to the downloads folder and you open. So this is the sufficient. Yes, here we need to choose a workspace. Make sure use, apart from C drive, you can choose any other drive. So in your batch, I taken as a F drive 32 34 folder. This is your batch number and this is your workspace. Okay, let me click select folder and click launch. Okay, let it open this one. How many of you completely joined today, new guys? Can you raise your hands or in the chat box so that I will get to know the count? You will receive email anyway today, all the backup videos and everything. And two, what about others? Okay, these three examples we discussed in the last session. These are all Spring basic examples. Okay, not Spring Boot, Spring. If you just a high level picture, if you see here, if I open the pom.xml file, manually we added one dependency, Spring context module we added. Here when I add as a Maven module, some dependencies are downloaded. See, Spring core, Spring context, Spring beans, Spring AOP and micrometer and some libraries it is downloaded. And here we created one XML configuration file. Now here we created one bean object, and the same bean object by using IOC container, I am loading application context.xml file. I am doing some operations here to print just a hello world also. If I want to execute only constructor, I need to follow these many number of steps. How you can avoid completely by using annotation based approach, component scaling we discussed in the last session. Now with Spring Boot, just have a look here. Click file, new, there is an option called Spring Starter project. See, not Maven project, just Starter project. Click on this option. Okay, it will open this pop-up to you guys. For the initial setup, what is the name of your project you want to provide? Now let me provide 03. I want to follow some naming convention whenever I am creating the Spring Boot projects here. Okay, JE hyphen, okay, Spring Boot. Just type as a Spring Boot hello. Just I'm writing here. Okay, here if you see here default location, choose your default location where you want to save this project. Type C Gradle and Gradle with Groovy and Gradle with Kotlin, and here we have another option called Maven option. Maven. Okay, packaging jar file or war file. Now, language Java, Kotlin, or Groovy. Java version, minimum Java version is Java 17, guys. Okay, Java 17. Here, group ID, whichever package you want, you can provide. Just I'm using com.java express, and this is your project name. Okay, and make sure probably group ID and package name both are should be same. Whenever you are generating the jar file, now this is the package structure it will be used. Like if you are adding spring context module, you need a group id and artifact id. org.spring framework is your group id, artifact id is spring hyphen context. Here also when I generate a jar file, if anyone want to use, my group id is com.java express, artifact id is this is the one. Mostly in the real time, artifact id will be in the lowercase letters, not uppercase letters. Remember this point. Okay, and here description, version, and package name. Choose the next option. Here see the latest version 3.2.5. We'll try to use this version. If any issues are there, we'll try to degrade another version as well. Okay, this is a compatible version. Remaining all are still in development phase, not at finalized versions here. Okay, now let me use 3.2.5. Now here there is a available as of now. See, different kind of starters are. These are all kind of a starters. Okay, as of now I don't want anything. Choose the next option. If you want to change your Spring Boot version, here you can choose. I tested till now 3.2.3, guys, so that's why I'm changing to this version now. Till now we tested this one. 3.2.5 is newly introduced, so that's why right now I'm not taking. We'll try to use 3.2.3 version. Even in your use case, use the same version. If any new modifications, it may not work, so that's why we are using this version. Okay, choose the finish. For the first time, it will take some time to set up your project. I mean, downloading dependencies into your local repository. That means inside your M2 folder, all these dependencies will be downloaded. Okay, let it complete. Okay, now see hello world. See simple hello world. See, click on application.java. Now see, this is IOC container will create. You no need to write anything. One annotation I told it, Spring Boot application. This is the annotation. If you click on Maven dependencies, see here, lot of dependencies are available. See, Spring Core, Spring Context, Spring Expression, okay, Spring JCL, AOP, Beans. These are all kind Spring Boot jar files here. Anyway, in detail we'll discuss. Apart from that, here you are able to see log4j jar files. ESLF4j jar files, and we have a micrometer, logback, log4j, JUnit, some couple of other jars also downloaded in the class path here. These are all the things available in the class path. Now, how to run this application? Right click, run as Java application or Spring Boot application. Let me choose Spring Boot application. See, this is your Spring Boot icon, Spring Boot dashboard. Now you see your application is started. Now tell me how to represent your Java class as a Spring Bean. Which annotation I should use? Who are attended yesterday's session? You guys tell me. How to represent your Java class as a Spring Bean? Spring Bean.
By
Okay.
annotating it
bean.
with the bean.
Okay. By annotating which annotation?
@ bean.
No. That is by using IOC. Last example, as part of component scanning, we used one annotation, right? What annotation?
At component.
Exactly. Accounts default const. Just I created simple Java class here, guys. Nothing else. Now I'm specifying at the rate component. That's it.
Difference between two, sir. At the rate being
Anyway, we'll discuss soon that one. Already yesterday we discussed that one. Means mostly at the rate bean is used for external classes, not for internal. That means accounts is available into your project or not? Tell me. Tharmal, who asked the question? I'm asking again.
yes, yes.
Then you can use component. Now REST template is available into your project?
Not
No. If you want to create a bean object, I mean REST template, can I apply at the rate component? I don't have in your project. Am I correct?
yes.
Then I can use for at the rate bean. This is called customization. Anyway, in detailed discussion we'll do as part of REST API development. We'll discuss about difference between component and scanning, configuration and component scanning, at the rate post mapping and service. If I don't use at the rate service, what will happen? All the scenarios we'll discuss. Don't worry. First initial startup, just have a look. Now, guys, inside this project, only I have one Java. This is simple Java class. To convert this Java class into a Spring Bean, I used one special annotation at the rate component here. That's it, nothing else. Now I am running this application. Just observe here. See, accounts default constructor is invoked here. I don't need to do any configurations. Everything be taken care. But whereas in the Spring application in last session, what we done? What we done? We created an application context object, creating a bean class and retrieving the bean, and default constructor is invoked. And what is the bean class? I created a special class. Here I am mentioning at the rate component scanning. Here I am mentioning the base package. Lot of stuff I done. To do a configuration again, you need an XML. Other things is required. But here everything is using. If you use this annotation, if you click internally, it has other annotations. Spring Boot configuration, enable auto configuration, and component scanning. These three are the special annotations with respect to our Spring Boot here, guys. With respect to our Spring Boot. Anyway, we'll discuss in detailed discussion about these annotations. Don't worry right now. Just to print a hello world, I created this application for you. Clear? Setup is clear. Technical questions will go in detail. First, creation of Spring Boot project is clear. Any questions? Say yes or no, so that I can go for next.
No questions.
Others, please confirm quickly. Usha, Varshit, Vijay, Rahul, yes, please confirm.
No questions.
Okay, good. Next, who are using IntelliJ IDE? Okay, you guys need to follow different way. Just you need to go for this website, start.spring.io website. This is called Spring Initializer. Okay, here download as a which project? Maven project. Which project is required? Java. Which version? 3.2.5. Now a group ID is required. Now let me choose group ID, com.java express. Here artifact ID is required. So what I will do, I will follow a different naming convention. 04 I will be use. Okay, 04 hyphen je hyphen, okay, spring boot hello. Okay, simple. Okay, now package name, I want to use com.java express. Packaging as a jar, it's a 17. Just generate here. A project will be downloaded. See, a zip file will be downloaded. This file you should import into IntelliJ as well. Okay, now if you want to set up IntelliJ, okay, we have a community edition. This is IDE setup. click on download IntelliJ. There is no ultimate edition. We have a less features if you are using community edition, but anyway, I will demonstrate you both. See, this is official website. If you go to bottom down, there is a community edition. There is a exe file. Download and install the software. Normal, next, and finish. That's it. Nothing else. There is no change. Once it is downloaded, in the search bar, just type as a IntelliJ as well. Okay, let me show you here. IntelliJ. Okay, this is the edition you will get. Just open. Just I want to show you both approaches so that a lot of companies will use IntelliJ only. So that's why even I want to demonstrate this one activity to you guys. It is open a other project as well. Just let me close everything. I don't want these all the things. Here we have an option called open. Are able to see? There is a click option called open here. First time when you're open here, you should choose wherever your project is available. It is available under which folder, guys? Downloads folder, right? What I will do, click on the downloads. See, this is your project. Right click, extract all, extract the option. Whenever you are using IntelliJ, these are the steps you need to follow, guys. If you are using STS, simple and straightforward. You in the real time in your organization, they will use ultimate edition. So directly you can create the project. See, this is the project is created. Now this is up. Now what I will do, copy this one, copy, keep into your F drive 34 under workspace so that everything will be the under same place. 04 available under which folder? This is the path. Copy. Now open your IntelliJ F drive. Just verify your 34 folder and Spring Boot workspace. Now what is the project? This is the project. Click OK. Trust the project. This window. First time ID set up your IntelliJ is little bit difficult. I mean project creation. See in the bottom you will get one option, guys. Load Maven project. Click this option. We used 3.2.5. Now it is trying to download all your latest versions, guys. See, on the bottom are able to see 3.2.5. It is downloading all the latest dependencies into your system. Now, which is the you are comfortable now, IntelliJ or STS? For beginners, I recommend for beginners at initial
STS.
stages, STS, yes, best option. Once you are comfortable with STS, and then we'll jump into IntelliJ and we'll try to our REST API development, everything will use IntelliJ only, guys. REST API development. Initial Spring Boot module, we'll try to use our STS until you are comfortable here. As everyone is a beginners, right? Now see here, application.java. And this is application.properties. Now you can run your application, run as your application. But compared to STS, IntelliJ is very fast to run our application or opening the project, adding dependencies. It is a fast, but we should habituate both. See, your application is started. See, your application is started here. No difference here. Okay. This is about our IDE setup here, guys. Okay. Now, what are the things we discussed it till now, guys? Okay. Now, let me recap for you what we today topics we discussed about mainly Spring Boot. Okay. Advantages and goals. Okay. And then we discussed about help me guys, what are the other things we discussed today? Why? Because the initial session you should be aware, that's why. Okay, then we discussed about why Spring Boot, how does it work, okay, and by using what annotations, okay, and setup in local system, okay, using STS and using IntelliJ. These two things we done. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to discuss about, okay, features of the Spring Boot here guys. These are the topics, okay. Types of applications already done in the last session, ignore about this one. Now features, these are the features completely we are discussing tomorrow guys, so that Spring Boot high level topics, I mean to say detailed discussion will done. I mean starters, servers, databases, activators, this is the heart of our Spring Boot, okay, main core concept. Once you are familiar this one, it's sufficient to start with our database communication guys. Okay, it will take another 1 hour to complete these features. Tomorrow in detail we'll discuss this one. Okay, so that's all today's session. Who are joined late guys, previous videos available in our, okay, Java Express website and the YouTube, and this is our contact number. You can drop a message, they will share you detailed information, day 1, day 2, day 3, all the videos they will share. This is the contact number, please make a note. Okay, tomorrow is the last day for demo sessions. Okay, so avoid last day registrations, so please make sure if you want you can go ahead and for enrollment today guys. Okay, so this is our videos are available here, 1 2 today's session also available here, day 4. Okay, you can go through today's session as well. Okay, if you need immediate, okay, updates from course updates or anything, okay, this is our Telegram channel. Okay, you can join in this Telegram soon. Even Spring Security also we are planning, but for you right now not required. Anyway, later on I will explain. This is our channel, just join in this link to get more updates as well guys. Okay, any questions before closing our session? Non-technical, please post your questions to this number, team will help you. If any technical, let me know, I can help you. Okay then, if no questions, we can drop off. Same day, same time, we'll continue tomorrow guys. Thank you all.
Thank you.